Welcome to the Genius Talk podcast. I'm your host Atul Raj, and today we have Chloe Thomas with us. Chloe, welcome to the podcast.
Great to be here, Atul. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Awesome. So, for the people who don't know, can you tell them who you are and what do you do?
Okay, so my name's Chloe Thomas. I am an expert in e-commerce and e-commerce marketing, and I run a business called Emetko Media, where we create content to help e-commerce brands make better decisions. We've got a couple of podcasts, a couple of newsletters, a few websites, and then we sell advertising to software companies and agencies who want to get in front of our audience.
Okay, that's awesome. So, how did you got started in e-commerce?
20 odd years ago, I was working for a bank in the UK doing marketing, and I hated it. So I applied to every job going in the back of the, back in those days, jobs came in the back of magazines. So I applied to all the jobs in the back of the magazine. And the first people who offered me a job was a UK high street store who had a mail order operation and a website back in about 2004 this would have been. So I got hired to run their catalogue marketing, so their direct mail programs, and became very involved in the website. So that was my first foray into e-commerce, and I've never left.
Okay. So, can you be specific, like who do you help and how do you help them?
Yeah. So now, having been client side, run agencies, and now then been a podcaster, and now be what I do today, which is running this media company, we have two groups of people who we help. One is our audience, and our audience are e-commerce brand founders and senior decision makers who are usually online only or bricks and clicks. So they might have a physical store presence, but they're mainly selling via their own website. And we help them by providing content that helps them make better decisions. So they get to know what's available out there, what everyone else is doing, what other brand owners are doing, what the thought leaders in the industry are thinking about, help them solve problems, basically, give them the information they need. And then our second group are who we call our customers, because they're the ones who give us cash, simple as that. And they are software companies and agencies who want to get in front of our audience. So maybe they want their ads across our podcasts or in our email newsletters, or they want to be a guest on our shows, so our podcasts and our webinars, or putting a guest content onto one of our websites.
Looking back, what do you wish you know right now that you would want to know when you first started?
There's like 1,000,001 things. The biggest one would be that not everybody is an extrovert. So back in my 20s, I saw all these people achieving loads of stuff, going to lots of events, doing lots of networking, doing great sales, and I thought that was everybody. So I got really confused about why I tried to do that, and I inevitably failed and got grumpy, and discovered there was such a thing as introvert. So you have extroverts and you have introverts. Discovered I was definitely an introvert, and spent the next 15 years or so trying to work out how to be a successful introvert with all these things. You have to do networking, you have to go to events. How do you do that successfully as an introvert, and how do you play to your strengths and get very good at saying no to people? And then 2 years ago, I was diagnosed as autistic, which is it's like the gold standard of introvert, let's say. So what I would have loved to have known 20 years ago is like more of an introvert autistic business person playbook, which would have saved me from making a whole load of mistakes and spending a lot of time trying to be someone that it was always going to be incredibly hard for me to be. So, and then once you know what you can't do, then you can start really perfecting doing the stuff you can do. So, for example, a lot of people here in the UK, if they were doing the business I'm doing, they would do a lot of networking. Lots of networking events, lots of catching up with people, lots of being around so people could see you and they'd be reminded, and you build those stronger relationships. So then they would come and buy from you when they had that bit of marketing budget to spend on an email campaign or some podcast sponsorship. I can't do that. If I had to do, I can do about a 2-day conference so long as I don't go to anything in the evenings. But more than that, I just have to retreat, and it's very, very ineffective use of time for me. So I can't be networking every day, every week, multiple times a week. So you go, right, okay, so I can't do that. How then can I manage to grow the sales in my business without doing those things? Getting great at automation, getting great at copywriting on packages and documents, gathering social proof. I'm not expert at all of this now. I know what I need to do. But if I'd known that 20 years ago, I could have got better and better and better at that and stopped beating myself up at not being able to do the networking, calling up for a chat and all that kind of stuff, which is just beyond me.
Okay, so let's talk about some automations, okay?
Okay.
So what do you think, like, what are the most underused automation?
Do you want in e-commerce or do you want in my business?
You can say whatever you like.
Cool. You may regret that. So in e-commerce, I think the most underused automation is the one which people do badly is the post-purchase automation. So you can't,
Okay.
sometimes people call it a welcome campaign. Sometimes people call the welcome campaign from they've signed up and you're trying to get them to buy. I prefer welcome campaign for that. This is the post-purchase. They've bought something off your website. Then what happens? Because the reason I think it's the least well used is because it's such an important moment for getting a repeat purchase. There's a high possibility you'll get a repeat purchase even though they've only just bought from you. So you want to get sales messages in there. It's also the point that's the most nerve-wracking for your customer because they've bought the product. They've trusted you with the cash. They've trusted themselves with making the right buying decision. They haven't yet got the parcel and they're waiting. And there's all sorts of things you should be doing in that time span to make sure they have as good an experience as possible. Yes, there's the customer service alerts, the parcel arrival alerts and all that good stuff, packaging it well, but hiring the right courier to deliver it. But you should also be sending them proactive messages to get them excited about the unboxing experience.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want the product to arrive and them to go, I can't work out how to use this. This is really confusing. Like, maybe they're buying matcha tea for the first time and you've got this weird whisk thing and you've got a pot of powder. And if that's all you've got in the box, you're like, oh, okay, now I need to go and Google how do I actually make matcha tea. So what's a really exciting, I'm going to become healthier and stronger and stuff because I've got my matcha tea powder, becomes a point of stress for the customer because they don't know what to do. But if you sent them emails in between saying, watch our video so you're ready to go when it arrives on how to make the perfect matcha tea, and here's a couple of recipes you might want to try, then they know exactly what they want to do when they open that box. And by improving the quality of that experience, then you make a repeat purchase further down the line considerably more likely. When it's a consumable product like matcha tea, they actually know how to use it, therefore they will actually consume it, therefore they will actually need more. But even if it's a non-consumable product, you're still building that level of trust and relationship with them that means they're more likely to recommend, they're more likely to buy again. So I think the post-purchase sequence is the absolutely most ignored one.
Okay. Yeah. I think after that, we could also people should also do some kind of referral kind of thing.
What? Sorry, I missed the word.
Like,
what thing?
like a referral kind of thing.
Yeah. And there's some really clever tech/paper that you can use for doing referrals. And I know there's a couple of companies here in the UK and in the US as well who will create personalized printables that go into the parcel. So the parcel can be sent out with a postcard in it, a piece of card in it that has a personalized QR code for scanning for if you give this to a friend, then you'll get points back and all the rest of it that's linked to the actual parcel, or that goes, you've got these products in your basket, here's the link to the video on how to make the matcha tea. So yeah, referrals can be really powerful at that point too.
Yeah, exactly. So are there any common pitfall you have seen e-commerce brand make?
God, how long have you got? So many. I think, can I do two quick ones?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So first off, it would be not focusing on retention as well as acquisition. It's really easy to get fully focused on new customers, but a little bit of effort on retention can go a long way, not least because usually with retention you can automate most of what you're doing. Obviously we just covered some of that, so I won't go too deeply into it, but the other thing is to keep that in ratio, because of course you should always be spending more time on acquisition than retention in 99% of cases, but you can't afford to ignore retention completely. The other common mistake I see happening more and more now, and you're going to like this one, I think, is assuming that email is dead or assuming that SEO is dead. It's like assuming something that's been around for more than 12 months is terrible. And it's like, there's new stuff you should be testing, but there's also email is hugely powerful if you use it right. SEO is increasingly powerful. Now we have geo and all the AI stuff going on. So you can't just constantly focus on the shiny exciting. You have to go back and make sure you've got the solid deliverable marketing channels working for you. And I find it quite depressing how many new brands are ignoring email completely.
Yeah. Okay. I was about to say something, then I forgot. So, can you
Sorry.
repeat the first point again? Like, what was the first point?
The first point was about ignoring
Yes. They are ignoring retention because I think they are only focusing on the first purchase instead of the average order value. No, not. I mean, average customer value.
completely.
Yeah.
It does, there is a point in the growth where you definitely should be focusing most of your effort on acquisition. And most of the time, actually, that's going to be the case. But if you put a little bit of effort, like one day a month, fully focused on building retention activity, it will multiply and it will, in the background, be just delivering good stuff for you. So if you haven't done anything in the last month on retention, sort it out, people. Sort it out. But then the flip side of that is people who go completely focused on retention and forget that if you do that, then your funnel gets smaller and smaller and smaller because you're not putting new people in at the beginning, and then you're also in trouble. So it's getting the balance right between the two.
Yeah, exactly. So what keeps you motivated?
A hatred of waste. So I guess I've probably always been motivated by this, but I now know I'm motivated by it, so I really focus on it. And it's not just like recycling in terms of hatred of waste. It's also wasted opportunities, wasted talent. One of the reasons I started the podcast in the first place was to help businesses realize what their opportunities were. Because at the time I was doing quite a bit of consulting, I was running an agency, and I'd see a business like, oh my God, I can't believe you're not doing this. And they had no idea it was an option or a good idea, and it was such a waste. So it's those sorts of waste as well. I'm pretty hot on recycling and sustainability too, but it's more the driver of, gosh, there's an opportunity there, or there's someone I can help there. It's that making sure the maximum is being delivered from things. That's what keeps me going.
Okay, so are there any book or resources that had like a profound impact on your approach?
Do you know, I am surrounded, you can see a teeny tiny load of books behind me, but there are so many others in this office, most of which I have read. Usually I would talk about like Quiet or Essentialism or the 12-week year or something at this point, but actually let's talk about Great by Choice by Jim Collins, which is a follow-up to his book Good to Great, that's the other one. But Great by Choice, he kind of digs into the strategy of businesses in the US who had achieved massive growth over very long periods of time. We're talking 50, 60, 70 years, to work out what the business habits, the business behaviors were that enabled that. Like, one of them is bullets before cannonballs, which is the idea that rather than going, oh, there's a cool idea, let's chuck a cannonball at it, instead you go, there's a cool idea, let's fire a couple of bullets at it to get our eye in. And then when we know we've got it right, we'll go all guns blazing and chuck that cannonball in. And there's loads of little things like that, which I don't think I've got it on audiobook. I don't think I've listened to it for more than 12 years, but it's forever pinging back into my head. So yeah, Great by Choice by Jim Collins.
Okay, yeah. Like the line you said, like there is something working for me right now, okay? But I was not focusing like fully into that. So now I'm going to do that.
Exactly.
Okay, so for our listeners who want to learn more about you and get to connect with you, where can they go?
So you can find out what our business is all about and what we get up to at emetko.com, which is EMKOET. No, she got that wrong. Embarrassing, isn't it, when you can't get your name? It's because it's new. We're only 9 months old. Okay. Emetko.com, which is EMETKO.com, which is where you can find out all about the business and our different content platforms and what we get up to and how we help people. And then if you want to get in contact with me, just find Chloe Thomas on LinkedIn and you will be able to get in contact with me there.
Awesome. So is there anything else that you would like to share?
It's been great chatting with you, Atul, so thanks so much for the invitation to bring me on.
Awesome. I'm glad that you're here. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.